This is Vic Porcelli, host of the Two Guys Talking Poker podcast, and you're listening to the Two Guys Talking Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Green Gab Podcast, a place to gab with people rocking it in green. Green homes, green living, and green companies. Join Marla Esser Cloos, the green home coach and author of Living Green Effortlessly, Simple Choices to a Better Home, and Tony Pratt, the Director of Builder Relations at The Sound Room. Here are your hosts, Marla and Tony.
Rolling on the Green Gab. We are at the St. Louis Home and Garden Show, and if you have been following us, we have been recording gobs and gobs of amazing people.
Gobs and gobs of gabs?
Gobs. I want you to say that fast 3 times, Tony.
I don't feel like it.
Okay.
I've been talking so much, I feel almost like I'm drunk.
So for our new listeners, I am Marla Esser Cloos of Green Home Coach, and you are?
Tony Pratt with the Sound Room.
And we are at the St. Louis Home and Garden Show doing something really cool and really new. We are sitting in front of a 1974 VW Beetle, or Bug, pick your name.
It's a bug.
A Bug, on the showroom floor, and it has a mobile podcasting studio in the front trunk. If you want to check it out, go to our Facebook page, Green Gab, on March 11th, well actually 9th through 12th, and you can see the live video, you can see the photos. And this way you can see what we're talking about, since it's kind of hard to see on a podcast.
Yeah, tons of photos, tons of video. You know, you can see everything and experience everything just like you're here. If you didn't have the fortune to make it down here, or if you're from another city outside of St. Louis.
Hey, and we appreciate all our listeners being out there, wherever you are. And we are really super excited to bring on our next guest. And Theresa, you are in town really doing something new here. So introduce yourself and tell us who you're with.
So my name is Theresa Garza, and I am the Market Development Manager for Renovate America. We are in a public-private partnership with the Missouri Clean Energy District, which is actually a political subdivision of the state of Missouri that authorizes PACE, Property Assessed Clean Energy Financing, throughout the entire state.
Okay, so let's start with PACE, because the word PACE has been around in Missouri for a while.
Right.
And we are the 3rd state to get it, am I right?
Something like that. I know they passed the legislation back in 2011 and created the political subdivision, but they didn't really kick off the financing until 2015. I
used to work with a gentleman that was doing some of the early work on PACE financing. And
would that be Mr. Trout?
That would be Mr. Trout. Jim Trout. Hey, we're saluting you, Jim, because Jim's been hard at work on a lot of things in Missouri that have really brought about some change. But what's so exciting about this is a new way to finance energy-efficient projects, and I'm going to preface this with my 2 cents worth before you get started.
Okay.
Energy-efficient projects, folks, don't just have to be about saving money. There are so many benefits to energy-efficient projects. But let me tell you one that you may not have thought about. We, as individuals, have an opportunity to impact climate change. What is happening in all the world around us by what we do in our homes. And using less energy, not wasting energy, using new components when we repair, upgrade, maintain, replace, is a way for us to do our part. So not only is this going to be great for you in your home, and, well, the people that live in your home, I guess your home doesn't care, but you're doing a part that's part of something bigger. And I love that you guys are bringing to the table a way to make that happen. So
absolutely.
Tell us how it works.
Just let me touch a little bit on that. You know, this is a way, because one of the things that we pride ourselves on as a company is that we're not only providing people with the ability to do these energy efficiency upgrades, which often with the sticker price is a shock.
Right.
So this allows them to do that through a financing mechanism, but it also, we've seen in the communities that we're in, it creates jobs, it cuts down green emissions across the board. And so those are the things that we really like to see, because it's not just about the homeowner and the property, but about what they're doing on the local market across the board.
Yeah, so there's the community and the world piece.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
Most of the improvements that you would do in a house, they're not something you're outsourcing. You have to do them locally.
Right.
So.
Right. And like I said, the sticker shock often when people choose those energy efficiency products is a lot. And so they're figuring out how to finance it, and that's how PACE came about.
Let me just suggest to our listeners, the sticker shock isn't necessarily because the energy efficient way is any more.
Right.
It's because a lot of times the things that make the biggest impact are big things in our homes, like a heating and cooling unit.
Right.
Which is a sticker shock no matter what you choose. So, yeah. So, anyway, I just wanted people to understand it wasn't the sticker shock of going a better way.
Correct. And I should have clarified that.
No,
thank you for doing that.
That's why we have a team here.
Right. So yes, a lot of times those products are a little bit more expensive. So that's what I'm talking about. But this allows for them to finance it, to do those energy efficiency upgrades, so they actually see the long-term benefit on a monthly basis through the decrease in their utility bills. This covers everything from HVAC to solar panels, energy efficient water heaters, insulation, insulated siding, some roofing. So it's a pretty big list of products that are authorized under PACE statute to be utilized for PACE financing. And our particular brand of PACE financing with the Missouri Clean Energy District is called HERO. Home Energy Renovation Opportunity is what it stands for. And it allows people to do these energy efficiency upgrades by paying it back via their property taxes. So when you contact a contractor, they come into the home, they evaluate and assess what needs to be done, they give you the project price, and then they say, these are the ways in which you can finance this project. And so HERO is one of those that they can offer now in the state of Missouri. The way it works is that once the property owner agrees that this is how they want to finance it, then the contractor comes in, does the project, completes it. When the homeowner is satisfied 100% with the actual work of the contractor, they sign a completion certificate, and then that comes back to the Missouri Clean Energy District. Once they receive that, then the contractor is paid, and we turn over that information to the tax collector of each county, and that's how it gets placed onto your property tax bill. So it comes out as, most people when they see their property tax bills, they have like sewer district, library district, then they'll see an additional line item that says HERO financing.
Okay.
All right, so, this is an interesting question then, because if I want to pay it off early and I'm sending it in via my taxes, what's the avenue for that? Because if I'm overpaying taxes, for me, St. Louis County's collecting it, aren't they just going to try and keep the extra money?
So the way it works, that's a great question, first of all. So that the way that works is that first initial payment is where you're going to pay kind of a lump sum, but once you've done that, it's turned over to basically mortgages, and you have the ability to escrow it in so that it is going specifically for that item.
So it works like an escrow account would on your mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah. I like that.
So
the homeowner is no cash out of pocket when they're approved for HERO financing?
No upfront cost, which is another thing that the homeowners like, especially when you're able to do those energy efficiency upgrades that you really see the benefit on. And I will say in the state of Missouri, one of the things that the state statute is very specific about is that there does have to be an economic benefit. And those are the words that are used in the state statute, meaning that the property owner has to be able to see over the course of the product that they are actually saving money on a regular basis. So there has to be an economic benefit to the property owner.
And I'm going to guess that on a lot of these improvements, the economic benefit, the savings may outweigh the payment.
Correct.
As long as you're escrowing it so you have the money in an account to pay it.
Right, that's the hope, is that you see that benefit of not just being able to save monthly, but you're able to, the cost offsets the actual project, the actual item that you purchased, the construction, the actual financing of it.
I know y'all are working with contractors to educate them and get them into the program. Do you also see working with remodelers to help them see that this is available to them as they go in and work on homes?
So it's really interesting that you bring that, because we just had that conversation on Friday in the Kansas City area with people that are purchasing houses and rehabbing them.
Yes.
And trying to figure out what that looks like, because again, this is property assessed, so it's always tied to the property.
Wait. Report that. So, repeat that. So the individual doesn't take out the loan. Basically, the house takes out the loan?
So it's because it's property assessed. So that means that it is assessed to the actual property. So if you as a homeowner decide to sell that home, then you have the ability in your sale of the property to negotiate in the selling price that it goes to the person purchasing it. Because they're the ones that are then going to reap the benefits, right? Not you.
And
so that's why it's property assessed.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. We've been working with real estate associations across the country, especially in the areas that we're very active in already, which is California, Florida, and now Missouri, to see what that looks like and to make sure that they're educated and understanding how that process works as well.
Wow. Okay, so I can't believe this, but it's already time for a quick break. I can see we got a lot more to gab about when we get right back.
It's plain old common sense. You want your home to look great, feel great, and perform great. Is it even possible to do all three without breaking the bank? Yes. In Living Green Effortlessly, Simple Choices for a Better Home, Marla Esser Cloos shows you how to make your home green. From integrating smart technology into your home to planting a rain garden, there are all kinds of ways to live greener. Get the book now at livinggreenbook.com. That's livinggreenbook.com.
Thought about a career in voiceover? Need a great, cost-effective on-hold message for your organization or business? Don't know where to start? Check out The Voice Farm, your one-stop shop for voiceover needs. Check it out now by accessing The Voice Farm at voicefarmers.com and see what difference can be made with a company that is truly outside the box. From the Voice Box, voicefarmers.com. That's voicefarmers.com.
There are many logos that you can look at around you on your mobile device, your drive home, inside the boob tube, and thousands of other places. Only one conjures the answer, however, to the question, who you gonna call? In 1984, Ivan Reitman directed a special little feature film exploring the paranormal, the normal, and the comedic inside the city of New York. It was called Ghostbusters. It was deliberate. It was fun. It continues to receive stellar reviews even now 30 years later, and is the seed for many new efforts that feature the moniker Ghostbusters. How did the original win hearts? What do you think of the original 1984 romp that talks about a gatekeeper, a keymaster, a destructor, and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man? Check out the perspective review of Ghostbusters 1984, directed by Ivan Reitman. PerspectiveReviews.com. That's PerspectiveReviews.com.
So, Gavin here with Theresa Garza of Renovate America, talking about the HERO program. I love the name. That just means so much.
Almost sounds like we should have like some theme music to it, you know?
I'll put that in with the marketing department.
I need my cape. I need my cape so I can be the superhero.
With a big H on it.
Right.
Hey, come on, we'll all be superheroes.
We have capes. I'll bring you some.
Oh, don't worry, Marla. You are a superhero.
Oh, you're so sweet. That's my favorite slide in one of my presentations. It's a little boy with a towel cape standing on top of the washer and dryer in his hero pose. That's what y'all need.
Great.
That should be the new little mascot. There you go.
But, you know, it is a program that can make a hero out of you, because you can be a hero for your home, a hero for your family and your community and your world by doing something that's great for all of those, simply by having a better way to pay for it.
Right.
I love that.
Well, not only that, you know, we've talked about this before, especially in St. Louis. We find new construction, it's easy to get a lot more advanced technology in the house, more energy efficient, whether it's better insulation, better equipment, you know, whole 9 yards. But the biggest problem, especially in St. Louis, since we have such old housing stock, has got to be the existing home market. And this seems to me like it's tailor-made for it.
It is. It's specifically for existing buildings, homes, not necessarily new construction.
Yeah.
So it works really well in that sense.
Since we're not going to be on Facebook Live very long, would you please recap the program real quick and give us the website where people can go for more information?
Okay.
But that way our Facebook Live listeners have that available for them.
Yep, absolutely. So it's theheroprogram.com is the website, and what it is it allows for homeowners or property owners to do energy efficiency upgrades on their homes via a financing mechanism that is authorized by state statute that is actually paid back through your annual property tax bill. So it's anything from HVAC, solar panels, insulation, some roofing materials, windows and doors. It covers quite a large gamut of items that you would think about doing for your home, especially when it comes to that energy efficiency component that lowers your utility bills.
That is so awesome. So when you as a homeowner are thinking about doing something to your home, to home improve it, check into what's available to be financed through PACE financing, and you may be able to do a whole lot more than you thought you could and really make your home more beautiful and make it perform better and make it have less of an impact on both your wallet and all the stuff it uses around.
Right. Basically, there are some requirements. You have to have at least a minimum in the state of Missouri, 10% equity in your home.
Okay.
You have to be current on your mortgage payments, current on your property taxes, because it does go through your property tax bills. And they look at a couple of other things, but those are really the big ones.
Okay.
So there is that 10% equity in the home, because it is, again, property assessed clean energy, so it's assigned to the property. So they're really looking at what you have equity-wise in the home or in the property, because it's commercial also, not just residential.
I just love the creative thinking that's going into all this, and I appreciate y'all bringing it to us. So for the Facebook Live folks, check out the full podcast later on. Not sure when it'll get out, but sometime soon. You can check it out at greengabpodcast.com. You can also find our podcast on iTunes, and we're going to wrap it up on Facebook Live and keep going on the podcast. So, Theresa, talk about some of the typical projects. Well, I don't know if there is such a thing as a typical project, but y'all are in 2 states so far.
Three. Florida, California, and Missouri.
We are the 3rd. So, but you're just rolling in here, right?
Yes, we just kicked off the Hero financing in September in Jackson County, Kansas City area. In November, it came down around here in the St. Louis area, and then Springfield, Greene County was around December. So slowly expanding across the state in the ability to provide this type of financing to homeowners and to property owners.
You know, once again, here we are in the middle of the country.
I know.
3rd state in the union out of 50 to actually have these programs available. Who would have thought it?
So, how did y'all pick coming to Missouri next?
So the way that it works, because it is by state statute, we look at the states that have adopted PACE legislation. So Missouri had PACE legislation in place since 2011.
So we were a little bit already in the game.
Right,
gotcha.
Right. And so now, to date, there are 32 states that have PACE legislation, but they don't have active programs yet.
Okay.
So we're
they'll be
working
next.
on that.
So it's the steps. You know, you have to get the legislation in place.
Okay.
Once the legislation is in place, then you put together the program. Once the program's put together, then the actual funding can come in and become available.
The actual implementation of it begins. So it took a little while to figure out how it would work in Missouri, and they initially kicked off with smaller commercial projects. They didn't add the residential part till 2015 here in Missouri.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains why I've been hearing of it for so long, but not seeing a lot of activity. I got you.
And now here it is.
I know.
Yes,
ready to go.
In full fruition.
So do we already have some projects happening in the St. Louis area with PACE?
Yes. So we actually, like I said, kicked off in around September of last year. Since then, we've had about 1,000 applications across the state.
Wow.
So we're slowly in the process of approving some of those. We've already done about 200 or so projects across the state. We also vamp up because we work directly with contractors, so we're always looking to increase our contractor database, so they have to go through a process to become certified Hero contractors.
That makes sense.
They have to be licensed, bonded, have their insurance.
Sure.
And then also they go through a background check that our company conducts with our compliance department. Once they're approved, then they go through a training program, and we add them into our system as a certified contractor.
Yeah, I would think you want to make sure that whatever contractors you're working with, they are contractors that you know are going to be around for a while. They're established entities. They're not, a guy in a pickup truck kind of thing.
Right. We always emphasize that trusted local contractors in each community, and most people know who they are. I mean, when you start thinking about in your community, like, who are the contractors you often see? Who are the ones that you know do a lot of projects? Who are the ones that are trusted? And so that's really what we look for, is those trusted local contractors.
Now, do you reach out to the local HBAs to find out some of that information?
Some of that, it's all an education tour across the state on many fronts, because we're educating property owners, we're educating municipalities and local governments, we're educating contractors, we're educating other associations, Chamber of Commerce's, etc. So it really is that educational component across the state on vamping up what this looks like and how to get more people involved and more aware of it.
Gotcha. Interesting.
So what's kind of a typical project you've seen in St. Louis so far?
So mostly what we see in the state of Missouri in general, especially, St. Louis, is HVAC systems is a huge one, windows and doors. We're starting to see more solar now that people realize that solar can be financed. But I would say a large bulk here in Missouri and St. Louis side is HVAC systems and windows and doors.
Well, that would make sense.
What's the most unusual project you've seen so far?
I don't know if I can say any unusual ones.
That's good, right?
Yes, that's a good thing. Yeah, that is a good thing.
So homeowners that are listening, if you are in the state of Missouri, particularly in the St. Louis or Kansas City areas, and you're thinking of making an investment and an improvement in your home that's going to impact or takes energy, see if you can qualify for PACE financing. Because this will be a much easier way, perhaps, to finance, and you may be able to do more that's going to bring you more benefit and really get a lot more out of it, bigger bang for your buck, right?
Right, absolutely. And they can go to heroprogram.com and then click on Missouri, and it will pull up the application. It will also pull up a list of certified contractors as well as eligible products in the state of Missouri.
So what I love is that we all want to do these things, and we all feel constrained by the money and the time. So at least we can take care of one of those.
So they are a fixed interest rate across the term of the assessment. So that is, it's not a flexible or anything like that. It's a fixed term. Here in Missouri, they range from 3.49% to 8.9%. And that is basically depends on the registered contractor, the product type, and then the financing terms. But those are the rates here in Missouri, which are pretty reasonable in comparison to traditional banking and so forth.
Sure. And the nice thing is, with more options as far as financing for a homeowner, they do some research, they might find better rates, and they might find the ability to definitely do more than they thought they would have, what their original budget was.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you going to be listed, or are you already listed on the Desire database? Are you familiar with the Desire database?
I am not.
So Desire is the database of state incentives for renewables and energy efficiency lists. And it's a database that's maintained nationally, but it's by state to see all the incentives, rebates, tax credits that are available for green and energy efficient projects in a home.
Gotcha.
So it'd be a great place for you guys to be listed.
Absolutely.
As one of the mechanisms in Missouri. And for those of our listeners, if you want to go to that database and see what's available for your own place, wherever that may be in the USA, the website is DSIREUSA.org, and it's Desire without the E. But it's a great resource, and I think that'd be a great place for y'all to get hooked up as well.
Okay.
So, and I'm going to do a shameless plug here for a minute, because we don't talk a ton about financing in my book. So humbled and so excited that my book just came out in January, Living Green Effortlessly, Simple Choices for a Better Home. But we do talk about paying for your dream home back in chapter 7, I believe. And that's part of what we're talking about, is how do you find the money to pay for this and do it the way you want to do a better job. And I know, as much as we all say, well, we don't want the money to be an issue, it can be. It certainly
It always
can be.
is,
And
yeah. Well, not always, but it usually is.
Yeah,
for
it's
most
always
people.
a factor.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, even the wealthiest person in this world is wealthy for a reason, because they use their money wisely,
True.
right?
True.
Well, and they can save money this way, too. with
There you
energy
go.
efficiency upgrades.
I love it. I love it. So what else should we look for with PACE financing happening now? And obviously it's going to roll into more states over the next few years, I'm guessing.
Yes, that's our hope. We're looking at about 3 states to be added this year, then we'll just continue to move that progress along. Like I said, it is commercial as well as residential. The commercial works a little differently, which we could have somebody come back and speak on that at another time if you're interested.
There you go.
Because that is a little bit different than the residential side. But we are looking at, like I said, as we expand across the state of Missouri, moving into more counties and more municipalities and educating property owners across the board.
I love it.
Cool.
So let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll gab a little bit more about how you can use financing to optimize your home.
Looking for a straightforward user interface and a cost-effective, feature-filled multi-track recording software? Call off the search! Mixcraft from Acoustica has exactly what you're looking for. It's time to include reliable audio creation and editing software with real punch into your projects. Check out Mixcraft now over at acoustica.com/Mixcraft and start a new generation of audio creation and editing today.
Wouldn't it be cool if your advertising could last forever? It can, with perpetual advertising. Here's how it works. Magazine, radio, and television ads are efforts that people might see or hear once, and then they're lost forever. Perpetual advertising provides you with the chance for repeat exposure and replayability weeks, months, even years after it's originally inserted inside a podcast. So even after your advertising is included in a podcast years ago, those efforts are still impactful, providing you with true return on investment. Real impact, thanks to perpetual advertising. Are you ready to change the way you and your company or organization advertises? Find out more and launch a unique perpetual advertising effort right now by visiting twoguystalking.com/sponsors.
Hey, podcast fans. Ever wanted to learn sign language? How about learning more about the deaf and hard of hearing culture? Well, the time and effort has come to allow you to do just that. Don't miss the Interpreter's Toolbox podcast from Two Guys Talking. Great sign language vocabulary lessons, contests, stories, and more are waiting for you after you watch this new video podcast. Check out InterpreterToolbox.com for more details and get cash and prizes for your comments now. It's all about life. InterpreterToolbox.com.
Well, we are gabbing here today, and gab, right?
All day, every day.
Not every day, just every day at the home show.
It feels like every day. We've been here so long.
I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing.
It's not.
Teresa,
It's
you're
not.
an objective third party. What do you think?
Wait, I don't want to be pulled into this.
You know what? You're a smart woman.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like your brother after you work together so long, right?
Right.
That's the only way to describe it.
It's all good fun.
We have fun. That's all that matters.
Well, and we get to do something very extraordinary here. We get an opportunity to take a format that really hasn't been used a lot for what we call inspirating and educating, or I call inspirating and educating, but giving people an opportunity to learn something in a fun environment. And when I first started Green Gab, I wanted it to be coffee chat. Matter of fact, our logo has 2 coffee mugs on it because that's really what we started
It still
with.
has 2 coffee cups
It
on
does. Hey, I can look at
See?
the banners and see it. I guess we'll put some pictures up on that too. So the opportunity to share what people like you are doing and that you're putting it out on the line to do something innovative and different and that you believe in is so meaningful, and there are so many great things happening. It is hard to learn about them, and we love the fact that we're able to connect those dots and really bring those together. We really hope that we're just helping to move the needle, even if it's just a tiny bit, but to help move the needle. And I know you guys are in the same spot. And you just can't be in this kind of a business without having a heart for it.
Well, you know, it's simple physics, and it applies to any kind of movement. An object at rest stays at rest.
Yep.
Correct?
True.
Until acted upon by an outside force. An object in motion stays in motion until acted upon by an outside force. So if we take a movement and just give it a little shove,
Off it goes.
it will continue to grow and grow and grow.
The ripple and the pond effect.
You got it.
Nice.
That was one of my very first videos, was to drop the rock in the pond
yes.
and all the ripples. Anyway, that was a long time ago. If folks are interested in finding out if they can work with a contractor that works with PACE, so we'll bring it back to reality here. Tell us what the process looks like for a homeowner that really is just now hearing about this. They've got perhaps an old heating and cooling unit that they need to replace, and that's really as far as they've gotten.
Okay. And there's 2 ways it essentially works. One is that the system goes out and they call a contractor. The contractor happens to already be certified, and they say,
Okay.
this is a way in which you can finance it. Or they can go to our website, which is heroprogram.com, and they can click on the state of Missouri, and it will say find a contractor, and they can click on that and find a contractor.
Okay. So they can find contractors already in the
Right,
program.
and they can also apply at the same time online and know before they contact the contractor how much they're going to qualify for.
Okay, wait, explain that process
so they
again.
can apply
so that's
for
great
it.
to know.
Yeah. So heroprogram.com, and then they can apply online. When they go to the website, they have to pick the drop-down window for Missouri.
Okay.
And then they can fill out the application.
So that application first will help them really know what they're eligible for in terms of the amount of money?
Correct.
Okay. And then they can go to the contractor.
Right.
So if they are qualified for an amount of money that is less than what they want to buy, I'm assuming they have the opportunity to pay the difference out of pocket?
They can.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and typically the way it works is that in the state of Missouri, obviously we don't want people going belly up on their home or anything, so they have to have, they're not going to be qualified for an exuberant amount of money if they don't have the equity in their home and the ability to pay it.
Sure.
So it really is based, again, back onto that property and what the equity is in that property.
And you said 10% equity in your home is
the
required?
minimum requirement in the state of Missouri.
On a typical 30-year loan, how long does it take somebody to get to 10% equity, do you think? Do you have any idea?
That I don't know, but that's a great question.
I would almost say nowadays, because they're back to the 20% down in a lot of
good point.
markets.
Right.
But if you're doing some of the
But that's new homes, that's true.
If you're doing some of the federally backed loans, you can get
like
in.
Like ag or something.
Yeah, you can get in for 3 to 5% down.
Right.
Right. And so I know that, because this is home remodeling, not home ownership. So it's a little bit different
Right,
market.
but they're going to have to understand, one thing that might be something that would help you guys is to help people understand, say they just bought a house.
Yeah.
But
had it for like 2 or 3 years.
But they bought it with a special loan that wasn't 20% down, or they're paying PMI, private mortgage insurance. Typically, how long do they need to be in their home before they'll qualify for PACE?
And so that would, again, when they apply, it will tell them.
Okay. Oh, good.
Yeah.
So it's right there.
So if they don't qualify,
okay, good.
They will actually let them know why.
That's smart.
Here's why, and you probably have about this this long to go before you can.
Right. I mean, so that's when and even when the contractor's in the home, that's if they don't qualify, the contractor will walk through why they did not qualify.
Gotcha.
So that's one of the consumer protections that we have. Again, is to make sure that somebody doesn't go, belly up or whatever, and that they're not being qualified for a loan that they can't pay back. We do have a pretty high rate of being paid back. It's like 99-point-something% on-time payments that occur through this financing mechanism because of the way it's set up and established.
That's impressive.
So we do have a really good track record in that specific arena.
So if you're thinking of a remodeling project in your home, this is a great way to get some of that financed.
Right.
It's a great way to include more items in that project, because I'm a huge advocate. If you're tearing things up, do as much as you can. So do a caulk and seal package. Put in better windows if you can.
Right.
Think about the types of systems you're bringing into your home. Can you do something better that's going to pay you off?
Right.
Pay you back.
That would be great
too. Pay off.
Okay,
Freudian slip.
Well, it's just so much easier, though, once you've opened up the house or you've torn something out. If you can do everything at one time and just be done with it, it's just going to be less hassle.
Do as much
and
as
if
you can.
this financing helps the homeowner to be able to do that,
right.
I can see it just being a win-win for everybody.
Well, and that's the way also, so if they do windows and doors and they pay on them for a couple years and they pay it down, then they can go back, and if they want to try and qualify to add to a new HVAC system, then they can repeat the process and it just gets added on. But again, it's based on that equity, so it's not ever going to go above a specific amount in the state of Missouri on what they can take out as the financing loan.
So similar to a HELOC, a home equity loan, in how you have to have equity in your house, so there's something there to back it.
Right.
But going off the property taxes.
Right. Okay. And this is a fixed interest rate across the entire term. And in addition to that, it's also a single source. So HELOC can often be used for other things.
Right.
This cannot do that. It's single source financing.
Gotcha.
So I love the fact that many of us will never live in a brand new home and never have an opportunity to buy a new home or build a new home. And we have this huge amount of existing homes that need to be upgraded dramatically, and this is such a wonderful way to get that engine going.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I love that. So if we have contractors that are listening to this podcast, how do they get involved with the program?
They can go to the same website, heroprogram.com, and there will be an area on there that says contractors, and they can click on that and then apply to become a certified HERO contractor. So they will have to upload some documents and so forth
Okay.
that shows that they're insured, that they're bonded, that they have their licenses current and up to date. Anything that's mostly required to be a business owner. I mean, you're going to have those
but
documents.
We're ensuring that it's not
Right.
just some guy or
Right.
lady running
Correct.
around that hasn't taken the time to really have a full-fledged business.
Right.
So we're ensuring they have all the proper qualifications, licensing, insurance in place.
No one
Requirements
with a-
by the state.
Yeah.
Just because you have a pickup truck and a hammer does not
I was
make
trying
a
to be
contractor.
politically correct. No, it's the lady out there with pickup truck and a hammer.
Anybody with a pickup truck and a hammer.
But in all honesty, there are a lot of, and there's a lot of people that think, I want to get my home improvement done for the least amount of money, and that's what we qualify it by, is the least amount of money. I've done this, and let me tell you, folks, you get what you pay for.
You got that
made
right.
some really, really huge mistakes in home improvements in a house we owned for quite a while.
So that's a great
And
point.
the cost to undo the damage that we did unknowingly, and we didn't know enough to know what the contractor was recommending was absolutely ludicrous.
Right.
And by the way, folks, I'm going to give you a heads up. If you have a contractor that comes in and recommends changing your HVAC, your heating and cooling system in any way, shape, or form, stop right there and call a qualified heating and cooling person right then. Because nobody, unless they are a qualified and certified heating and cooling contractor, should touch any part of your heating and cooling system.
Right.
And I say this from experience, and it was painful.
Right. And that's why we have the completion certificate that the property owner has to sign off saying that it was done to their satisfaction, and why the contractors go through a process to become HERO certified. But in addition to that, unlike most things, like when you take out a loan from other places and something goes wrong, you don't call the financing company. In this particular case, as the financing company that is in a public-private partnership with the Missouri Clean Energy District, you call us, and we have a support team that will contact the contractor and say, hey, you didn't do this right, or whatever, and get the contractor to fix it. If that contractor does not fix it, then they get kicked out of the program, and we find another one of our contractors to come out and fix it.
Built-in quality control.
So consumer protections are in place.
It's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing.
Beautiful model.
And then you don't have to mess with the
excited.
contractor as the property owner. We do all of that for you.
I'm just thrilled that you guys are in the state of Missouri, hoping to move back maybe someday, or at least have a second home here, since I just left Missouri to go to Oklahoma. But I went for a good reason. You know, my husband being there and me being here was a little challenging.
Right. That is a little challenging.
But folks, if you are doing home improvements, if you are replacing heating and cooling systems and other big systems in your home, check out this program. This is a way to do more with less, and I'm just really, really excited that PACE is finally coming into Missouri on a big scale. So
we're excited to be in the state of Missouri and being able to offer this and work with the communities that we are already in.
So tell us again how to find you online.
HeroProgram.com is the website, and again, you'll just hit the drop-down menu for Missouri, and it'll pull up the information that you need.
And if you're not in Missouri, California, or Florida, stay tuned.
We'll be seeing you soon.
Hey, Theresa, thank you so much for joining us on the Green Gab Podcast. And you can find us at greengabpodcast.com or on iTunes or your favorite player. Just search for the Green Gab Podcast and have a wonderful day.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Green Gab Podcast and for joining us on our own personal Green Odyssey as we change the world one Green Gab podcast at a time. What did you learn about during this episode? Tell us now by visiting our website at greengabpodcast.com. And remember to connect with us via iTunes, Facebook, and Twitter. The links to do all of this are at our website, greengabpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, but more importantly, thanks for rocking it in green.